Hi, I'm Declan Quigley from Anamnaska Shamanism.
And I'm Eileen McCourt, spiritual author and teacher. This is the fourth of our series on these spiritual discussions. And today our topic is what we call the process of death and rebirth. We're going to start again, as we started in the two previous sessions, with trying to clear out the material and the ideas we have in our heads that no longer serve us on our spiritual path. And we're going to replace that with ideas which do serve us better. And the idea we have about death that we need to replace is the idea that it is an end to us. When we go through the process of dying, we are not ending in any way. We are simply transferring to or transmuting to a higher state of vibrational energy frequency. It is not a fearful process. There's nothing to be feared. And I think it is religion that has put this idea into people's heads that they're going to meet this male God who's going to judge and condemn them and send them either to purgatory or to hell. And if you're lucky, you might get into heaven. Well, that idea no longer serves us, because in the last session we talked about how we as energy, we cannot end. We cannot be killed, we cannot be destroyed. We simply transmute into a higher form of energy. So nothing can be made out of nothing. There never was a time when we were not in existence as some form of energy, and there will never come a time when we will not be in existence as some form of energy. So therefore, death does not exist. We are simply transmuting to a higher form, a higher vibration, like the caterpillar and the butterfly. The caterpillar doesn't die in order to become the butterfly. It simply transmutes into the form of the butterfly. And Declan, you as a shamanic practitioner and teacher, and not many people know this, I know that you work with souls that are trapped when they pass over. They're trapped because they are afraid. They can see the light, but they're afraid to go towards it because of what religion has instilled into them, that they're going to be judged and penalised. And I know that you help these souls. Would you like to tell us about that, Declan?
Yes, I mean, that's right. It's a very predominant, historically it's a predominant field in shamanism, and it's known as psychopomp work.
Okay.
An unusual title, but the work itself is absolutely beautiful, because what you're doing with psychopomp work is that you are taking those souls that are coming to the point of death, taking them through the doorway of death into the hands of their spirit guide and back to their soul family. And that has always been the role of the shamanic practitioner. It's a beautiful ceremony and a beautiful ritual, and connecting with these souls who aren't fully on their path to their soul family and taking them with you.
That is beautiful, Declan. It's really beautiful. You must get a lot of self-satisfaction and fulfilment out of helping these trapped souls, because it's very sad.
It's very sad, but you have to bear in mind as well, Eileen, that once they cross over, there is no time as there is on this earth. Yeah. So it's not a question of how much time they spend there in torment. They aren't in torment. There is some confusion. And this area that they go to is called the land of the dead in shamanism. And there are many chambers in the land of the dead. There's a specific area for children called the Chamber of Lost Children. But that sounds terribly sad.
It does.
But actually it's not. This comes in the form of, it's almost like a creche, and the children are attended to by their spirit guides. So they are quite happy in that, but they are not fully fulfilled on their journey. And do remember too, once we pass over, there are no children.
That's right.
Children is a bodily state.
That's right.
You know, that is. So we're all old souls.
Right.
And when we pass over, we are reunited with the knowledge of the nature of things.
Yeah. But there is no judgment and there's no condemnation. Nobody judges us. Nobody stops you and says, where do you think you're going? The soul automatically gravitates to the particular level in the spirit world which it has been prepared for. And the only criteria the soul recognises is what level of spiritual awareness are you at? And what does that mean? That simply means how aware are you of the nature of God, the nature of the soul, the nature of life, the nature of death. And if you still think that God is a big man with a stick and he's going to punish you, then you're not really going anywhere.
That's right. I think, for me personally, it's one of the most terrible crimes that's been committed by the church, and telling us that
the fear that's been put into us. Yeah.
And because the nature, as you know, Eileen, in the nature of the universe, there are two major energies. One is fear and one is love. And if fear is instilled in there, that can only be for one reason, and that reason is control.
That's right. Yeah. What about souls that are catapulted with quick deaths into the next vibration deck? No, most souls get time to reflect on what they're doing and where they're going, and get time to put their worldly affairs in order, and get time to say their goodbyes. What about those who don't get time to do that?
Well, in my experience, they are directed to a place of cleansing following that.
Okay.
And I think the likes of Michael Newton and The Journey of Souls, and Brian Weiss in his work, they come up with those same understandings through hypnotherapy. And when the soul has a traumatic passing, they potentially lose soul pieces. So the soul pieces hopefully are then returned to them by their spirit guides sometimes. Every case is different, and we have to work on a case-to-case basis. But once they get over there, they are directed then back to their soul family.
In the beautiful work that you do, Declan, when you rescue these trapped souls, can you see the expression that they have on their face when they realise that they have been rescued and they're going towards the light? Can you see the difference coming in?
That's one of the things for me, Eileen, in particular, me personally, is that I don't actually have a very strong visual sense of spirit. But I do have what they call clairsentient.
Clairsentient, yeah.
So I feel, and I have full knowledge through that feeling. So I can sense the joy, I can feel the joy, and the liberation and the freedom once a body comes out.
That's beautiful.
Once the soul comes out of the body.
So Declan, when you are with someone who's passing over, can you see the spirit rising? You know, the same way as spirit is breath and breath is spirit. So the spirit leaves the body with the last breath. Have you actually seen the spirit rise up, the mist or the vapour?
Well, again,
as cameras can pick up now.
Again, I don't see that.
You don't see
I get a sense of
you
it.
Sense it.
But that sense is very
rising,
real and very concrete. But I know that the soul hovers over the body for several hours, perhaps days.
Because it's familiar with that, yes.
Because
it's familiar.
It's what we have to bear in mind, it's a liberation.
It's a liberation, yes.
And the soul is then free. And part of my particular training in psychopomp work is that I had the journey to my own death in this life, my impending death.
Right.
And in that, of course, that was quite frightening, you know, initially, to see how your end is going to come. But
you know how yours is going to come, do you?
Yes.
Or Declan?
Yes. But it's really beautiful. When I journeyed to that moment, the sense of freedom and release was absolutely wonderful. And then that time spent outside the body, a growing awareness comes of the nature of things and the nature of the universe and our place in it, and our soul family. Because when we leave the body, what is happening? When we die,
we're released.
We're released and we're going home. The home that we know more than any other home.
And Declan, I think, just going back on that, I think that we've got this term death and birth the wrong way around, I think. I think when we come into this incarnation, we're actually dying to the high vibration level, our home. And when we leave this reincarnation, we're being reborn again into our own higher nature. So I think we've got death and birth the wrong way around. Is that right?
From my understanding as well, in the spirit world, that's how it's regarded. Death is birth.
Death is birth.
And birth is death.
Because we're dying to our higher nature, coming into this world.
That's right.
And we're being reborn back into our higher nature again.
In fact, one of the other terms for someone who does this work in shamanism is soul midwife.
Soul midwife, right, lovely.
So the shamanic practitioner would be a midwife for the crossing soul, or the birthing soul back into the spirit world.
Your work is really beautiful, Declan. It's beautiful work that you do. Yes, it is beautiful shamanic work. Yeah.
It's beautiful when you get those souls and they touch your spirit,
Yes.
and you see the joy that comes on passing
Beautiful.
and the recognition.
And Declan, we've this idea too instilled into us that when we do pass over, we're going to be lying around on a fluffy cloud playing a harp and singing hymns for the rest of eternity. Declan, I wouldn't know that many hymns, would you?
No,
I'd be
I
stuck.
wouldn't, unfortunately.
I'd be told to get out. I'd be expelled. So what are we going to be doing, Declan?
Well, I think, as we discussed before, I think one of the prime motivators for the soul is expansion.
Yes.
So when we go back to our soul family, we interact with them, we interact with their energies, as I would interact with you. It's very, very similar, just without the body. But eventually, we have to think about how best to expand. And then we have to develop.
It's all about the soul,
contract.
soul expansion.
It's all about soul expansion. And we have to think about what tasks or how we can possibly expand in the coming life, in the next incarnation.
Yeah.
So a lot of time is spent on that. A lot of time is spent on cleansing the negative effects of this life and the energy that we've accrued.
So we're constantly learning, constantly progressing, constantly raising our vibration. Yeah, we're not having lying around us in the cloud. And Declan, our loved ones, when they do pass over, they're not gone anywhere. They haven't gone up or down. So they haven't. It's like the television channel in your room. You're tuned into that because that's the one you can see because you're tuned into it.
That's right.
The other channels haven't gone anywhere. They're all around you, just aren't tuned in. So when our loved ones pass over, they don't leave us. They don't go up or down. Sure, they don't.
No, they're very, very close. They're as close as I am to you, if not closer.
Only we just can't physically touch them.
We can't physically perceive them.
Yes.
Because one of the things about this Earth incarnation is that our perceptive senses are very limited.
Yes.
You know, we don't see the outer ranges of ultraviolet or infrared or any of those, but we are given that knowledge once we pass over. But when we come into body, we lose that.
Right. And once we pass over, all knowledge is open to us. We have the wider picture. We can see things we weren't able to see in this earth. And then we suddenly realise, gosh, that's what it's all about. Why didn't I see that? Well, the reason we didn't see it in this lifetime is because it has been kept from us. We have been misled along a different path.
That's
the
right.
wrong path.
And what you realise is that the universe is a totally beneficent, supportive and loving energy. And we are a fabric in that.
That's
we
right.
are a thread in that.
We are in the web of life.
Tapestry.
The tapestry, yeah. And when do we ever get off the wheel of death and birth and reincarnation, Declan? Or is this eternity?
Well, I think once we get to a certain level of awakening or understanding, then we go on to another wheel.
Another wheel, yes.
Of existence. And I think in Buddhist terms as well, the Buddhists would say that some highly developed souls will come back into this life to help the others.
Yeah.
The bodhisattva
Yes.
is their term for it. But generally, it's reaching such a point of awakening and understanding that you're almost fully aware of what we become aware of coming into the spirit world. So the nature of things.
So when this earth dimension has no more lessons for us to learn, when we've learned all we can learn here, we finish our wheel of reincarnation here, isn't that right? We move on to what you're saying, another wheel in the spirit worlds.
Yeah.
And so we go up and go up and go up. Is this going to be for all eternity, Declan?
Well, it's really all dependent on how we expand, the lessons that we need to expand, and how that then is played out through our soul contract.
Right.
You know,
So eternity isn't something that begins when we die and goes on forever. This is part of our long walkabout.
We
across
are
eternity.
forever.
We are forever.
Have been.
We're intergalactic, interplanetary.
When
nomads.
When that Big Bang happened, we were part of that energy. We were part of that universal energy that gave rise to all things in the universe.
It's mind-boggling, isn't it?
It's huge. It's massive.
And our small human minds are not equipped to take it in.
No. And we do, the universe has balances and checks built in. And one of the things is that we do forget.
That's right.
We do forget the
and
nature of things.
That's right. And one of those internal checks is karma.
Yes, that's right.
That's
one. And also coming into this life, if we had full knowledge of everything, the lesson wouldn't be as strong and as fundamental as it is.
That's right. We wouldn't stay as long. We'd try and learn a lesson quickly to get back to the higher vibration.
Right.
So the whole thing would fall apart.
Absolutely.
So this veil pulled down over us at birth is there for a reason, isn't
That's
it?
right.
And Declan, we spoke there a minute ago about when we actually pass over, there is no judgment and no condemnation and no punishment, but there is a life review. We review our own life, isn't that right? And we will experience, if I caused pain to someone, I will feel that pain I caused them, and that will bring me to my knees. If I brought joy to someone, I too will feel that joy. And it's a balancing, isn't it?
That's right, Ellen. That's right. And that's one of the big lessons, I think everyone should know about our spiritual path, is taking responsibility for all our actions.
Mm-hmm.
And in the Hawaiian shamanic practice of Ho'oponopono,
Oh yeah, I love that.
that is what the practitioner does. He takes responsibility, or she takes responsibility for everything in the world that has come into the consciousness of that person. And there are 4 mantras that are said, and it's I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, and I love you.
That's lovely.
And in those 4 phrases, that is taking responsibility for everything, and that's what heals. That's what heals other people's karma and negative energy, and that's what heals our own.
Right. So Declan, can we sum up what we hope we have got across today in our discussion about death and birth?
Well, what I would like to get across is that people should not be fearful of this process. This is a beautiful, liberating, freeing process.
A natural process.
A totally natural process, and we are going back to the place that we originally came from. We are going home.
Yes. And the loved ones who leave us have not gone anywhere. They are still with us.
Always.
But with a higher perception, they can see things we can't see.
That's right.
So next week, Declan, we're talking about the nature of Christianity.
I'm looking forward to that.
That is going to be quite, could we put a word on it? Controversial, maybe?
Controversial, I would imagine.
Because
but this is not new material.
No.
Again, this is centuries old.
But it's material that has been kept from us,
Yes.
and we need to get it out there, and then people can decide whether they want to go with it or they don't want to go with it.
Well, that's it. And I think that's important. It's not our business to take anyone's faith away from
No,
them.
we're not trying
or
to
their
do that.
understanding away from them, but we were given options.
Yes.
And I think that's really important to say.
So next week, nature of Christianity, and we will end up by the nature of Jesus, no doubt. So we hope you can join us next week again, and thank you for joining us today. I hope you got some benefit from this, and until next Monday, namaste.
And thanks for watching. Namaste.